Jai Om Vishnuvad Punamun Supri Prajakcharya Stotra Sri Shrimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Jamana Mai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, Chapter 4. Text 107. Shesha Lilai Prabhur Krishna Biraha Unmada Brahmamaya Cheshtar Pralapa Moy Bad Shesha Lilai Prabhur Krishna Biraha Unmada Brahma Moy Cheshtar Pralap Moy Bada Maji? No? Okay. Shesha Lilai in the final pastimes. Prabhu of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna Viraha from separation from Lord Krishna. Unmada, the madness. Brahmamoy, erroneous. Cheshta, efforts, are, and, pralapamoy, delirious, bhada, talk. In the final portion of his pastimes, Lord Chaitanya was obsessed with the madness of separation from Lord Krishna. He acted in erroneous ways and talked deliriously. Lord Sri Chaitanya exhibited the highest stage of the feelings of a devotee in separation from the Lord. This exhibition was sublime because he was completely perfect in the feelings of separation. Materialists, however, cannot understand this. Sometimes materialistic scholars think he was diseased or crazy. Their problem is that they always engage in material sense gratification and can never understand the feelings of the devotees and the Lord. Materialists are most abominable in their ideas. They think that they can enjoy directly perceivable gross objects by their senses, and that they can similarly deal with the transcendental features of Lord Chaitanya. But the Lord is understood only in pursuance of the principles laid down by the Goswamis, headed by Swarup Damodar. Doctrines like those of the Nadia Nagaris, a class of so-called devotees, are never presented by authorized persons like Swarup Damodar or the 6 Goswamis. The ideas of the Gauranga Nagaris are simply a mental concoction, and they are completely on the mental platform. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadhati Shapadantikam Vandehang Shri Guru Shri Jatapadakamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Shahagana Raghunatan Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Shahagana Lulita Sri Vishakhan Vitamscha E Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hori Priye Vanchakolpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaur Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Sheshalilai Prabhur Krishna Biraha Unmada Brahmamoy Cheshta Ar Pralap Moy Bada. Sheshalilai, Sheshalila of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are his final pastimes. In his Adi Lila, he's in Navadvip and begins the Sankirtan movement. Then he travels in South India and comes to Puri, back to Puri. And then in his last years, he's absorbed in feelings of separation from Krishna. He stops traveling and sits down in Puri and is absorbed in these transcendental feelings in the association of Swarup Damodar Goswami, Ramananda Roy, and other confidential associates. This is Shesha Lila, the final pastimes. Prabhu Krishna Viraha Unmada. This is called, the madness of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is called Divyonmada. Mada is one of the features of the conditioned soul: Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Mada, Moha, Matsarja. Lust, anger, greed, madness, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Mada, bewilderment, and envy. So certainly Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had no reason to be engaged in ordinary madness. His madness was Divyonmada. That madness is seen in the spiritual world also. Sometimes the Krishna becomes so mad after Radharani that he forgets himself and tries to milk a bull instead of a cow. This is madness. And Srimati Radharani talks with the bumblebee as if it were a messenger from Krishna. Totally mad. But transcendentally mad. In the material world, madness is the sign of the mode of ignorance. What is that? The description of the mode of ignorance? Tamastvagyanajam vidhi mohanam sarvadehinam pramada alasya nidrabhistan nibidnati bharata. Pramada is a synonym of unmada, pramada, intense madness, mohanam, bewilderment. So these are signs of tamagun, the madmen are heavily afflicted by the mode of ignorance. But in the spiritual world, the madness is a product of pure goodness, absolute goodness, Vishuddha Sattva. This madness is a sign of intense love for Krishna. And why madness? Krishna Viraha. Shunyayatam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virahename. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was feeling intense separation from Krishna. Shunyayatam Jagat Sarvam. The whole world appeared vacant to him in the absence of Krishna. Yugayitam nimeshena chakshusha pravarshayatam. Just a moment felt like a yuga, and tears were flowing from his eyes like rain. Krishna Viraha. This is separation from Krishna. From the materialistic point of view, union is desirable and separation is undesirable, painful. But on the spiritual platform, this separation is the platform of the highest experience of love for Krishna. And it has it's more relishable even than the feelings of union, because the love is more intense. Even in ordinary affairs, if you lose your keys, you go a little crazy. Where are my keys? Where are my keys? Where are my keys? You become obsessed. Where are the keys? You can't think of anything else till you find that key. Otherwise, the key's in your pocket, everything's fine. You don't even think about it. But if you lose it, then immediately, and what to speak of losing something valuable. People even commit suicide. They lose their fortune and they jump off buildings or shoot themselves. Because one can't go beyond thinking and thinking and thinking, I've lost everything, I've lost everything, I've lost everything. He could just walk away from it all and say, nice while it lasted. But he can't do that because he's obsessed. My money, my money, my money. And everything connected with his money. So in the absence of Krishna, the devotee, pure devotee, feels intense love for Krishna and goes on remembering Krishna more and more. I discussed, I think, the other day, in another class, how Sanatana Goswami says that it's not that separation makes union sweeter. The separation itself has a relishable taste, which is on the highest platform. Krishna Viraha. Therefore, even the devotees who are on the lesser platform are advised to cultivate Krishna consciousness in the feeling of separation, not in the feeling of achievement. If we think, now I'm perfect, then nothing left to do. But if we think that we're deficient, then we have to become more serious. The Goswamis never said, now we've seen Radha Krishna, they're within our scope, so our life is perfect. The opposite. Hey Radhe Prajadevike Chaladite Hey Nandashuna Kuta Shri Govardhana Kopapada Patale Galindi Vanekuta Goshanta Viti Sarvato Brajapure Kedar Mahavyuvilo Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyavo Sri Jiva Gopalaka. They were feeling always unfulfilled in their mission. Where is Krishna? Where is Radharani? Where are the gopis? Where have you gone? Are you in Govardhan? Are you on the Jamuna? Kedar Mahavyuvalo. They were, again, overwhelmed. This is another kind of madness, wandering all around the village. Where's Krishna? Where's Radha? The ordinary people aren't doing that. They go about their business. Shopkeepers or farmers. What's the problem? But devotees on the platform of Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, were absorbed in that feeling of separation from Krishna. This is the teachings of the Goswamis. O Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Brahmamoy Cheshta. Brahma means bewilderment, or yes, making mistakes in bewilderment. Brahmamoy. Moy means filled with. Brahmamoy. Yeah. Cheshta. He would try to do things, but he would be bewildered. All his efforts would be like those of a madman. Our pralapamoy. Pralap means there's talking crazy. It's described that there are different kinds of mad talk, jalpa, pratijalpa, like that. There are different names of mad talk. I think maybe even, if I remember, Prabhupada commented that some of them are not even translatable. It may have been some of these kinds of talk, or else some other features of ecstatic love. There's just no translation for the words. But here, pralap, crazy talking. Crazy talking. I was visited an old age home one time, and a woman there was talking about how her husband was going to be coming that week. And he'd been dead for decades. So it was madness. She was thinking of her husband, and thinking, when will he come, when will he come? And he'd been dead for years. So it was mad talk. It made no sense. Crazy. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also was speaking like a madman. Although he was the greatest scholar, grammarian, so many qualifications. But in this feeling of separation, he would speak like a madman. And the scholars were materialists, can't understand it. Nayam atma pravachanena labhyo namedaya bahuna shutena tamme vaisha vivrinute, like that. Tanum swam. By our material efforts, we'll never understand Krishna or Krishna's consciousness. Not by our own efforts, not by attending colloquia and seminars, not by great intelligence, not by studying so many different books. Krishna consciousness is available to those to whom Krishna chooses to disclose it. To the people he chooses, he displays he discloses his own form, he discloses the essence of Krishna consciousness. He makes everything clear. But naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavrata muto yam na bijanati. The fools, which includes great scholars, Maya, Prithagyana, they can't understand Krishna because Krishna is completely covered, samavrata, by yogamaya, by his internal potency. Naham prakasha sarvasya. I'm not manifest to everyone and anyone. Why should I be? Just like rich men, you can't even see their houses. They're so far away from the fence that you can't even see where their house is, what to speak of going there. That's the prerogative of the rich. They don't mingle with anyone and everyone. They don't invite everyone and anyone to come and wander around, approach them. If they don't have a big estate, they live in New York, then they have a doorman. And the doorman and security, their job is, what's your business? Who have you come to see? What's your business? And if you don't have good reason, then sorry. Not that anyone and everyone can come into these buildings. Maybe ordinary person, anyone can just ring in one way or another. But these high security buildings, no one can get in. So if that's true even in the material world, what to speak of the spiritual world? Brahma Samhita said that there are tridents surrounding Goloka Vrindavan in different directions, or surrounding the spiritual sky from different directions, preventing the materialists from entering. So the materialists just can't understand Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They'd like to make him an object of their scholarly inquiry, but he can't be understood by scholarly inquiry any more than Krishna can be understood. Yes, you can. Some are closer, some are further in their understanding, but they can't actually understand. They'll have a little bit of gin and then sit at their typewriters and write a learned paper. No. One has to be freed from all material contaminations. Then one can understand Krishna. And then one engages in the service of Krishna. Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam. Tedvanva moha nirmukta bhajante mam vrita. These are the signs of a person who's actually advanced in understanding. He gives up sinful activities and engages in the service of Krishna. But the materialists are just another version of sense enjoyers. The materialistic scholars are another version of sense enjoyers. Maybe more going on the subtle platform. But on the gross platform too, their activities can be so gross that we don't even want to talk about it. Their activities can be so gross that we don't even want to talk about it. A lot of the degradation that we find in modern life, especially in regard to morals, sexual activity, and so on, comes directly from academia. You know, these are people, or there's so many degraded people, but some of them can write. Some of them can use words to make impressive arguments. And so they frame the thing as something special, something individual, something, in so many different ways. Not degraded, it's just another approach to life. Straight out of academia. So they're getting paid nicely to teach young people or older people, but they're confused even about basic behavior. They don't know who they are, they don't know what life is for. They don't know whether they're men or women. Confused. And they're scholars. So sometimes the materialistic scholars think that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was crazy or diseased. There's an incident told in Madhya Lila. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had fainted in ecstasy, and he was surrounded by some devotees, Balabhadra Bhattacharya, and a Rajput Brahmin, Rajput Krishnadas, and another one or two men. And while Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was lying on the road, some Muslim soldiers came up and thought that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they thought that, okay, this is what it is. These rogues have poisoned this sannyasi and stolen his possessions. So they arrested the Mahaprabhu's companions. Anyway, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to consciousness, then the soldiers explained, yes, these people have given you this datura intoxicant and robbed you. No, they're my associates, they're my assistants. I have epilepsy, and so they travel with me and help me. So he gave this explanation. And the devotees will read these explanations with amusement and relish. But the scholars will take it very seriously. Chaitanya was an epileptic. They don't get it. It's like a joke that a person doesn't get, and so he takes it seriously. If I say I could kill my mother-in-law, they'll call the police, and they'll go to court for a temporary restraining order over what was just a joke. So these fools can't understand. They don't get the joke. They can't grasp the humor. They think, yes, this explains it. He must have been an epileptic, or if not epilepsy, some similar disease. Their problem is they always engage in materialistic sense gratification. So they can never understand the feelings of the devotees and the Lord. This is they think that they can enjoy what they perceive by using their senses, and this is real life. So they're excluded. They exclude themselves from understanding Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yesham tvantagatam papam. One has to be freed at least from sinful activities. And jananam punya karmanam. One has to perform many pious activities, spiritual activities. Only then can one be freed from illusion and duality and engage in the service of Krishna. And only by devotional service can one understand Krishna. Bhaktya mama vijanati. Yabanyas chasmi tattvata. But they won't take that. They can't even give up sinful activities, to say nothing of taking up devotional service to the Lord. And yet they want to write books and speculate and be the authorities about Gaudiya Vaishnavism. No, they can't understand it. Naham prakasha sarvasya mudhoyam na vijanati. So one has to understand Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one has to follow in the footsteps of the Goswamis, Swarup Damodar, understand it from them. They're the true authorities for understanding Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If one wants to understand Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one has to understand him from the Goswamis, from Swarup Damodar, from Krishnadas Kaviraj, in this way. Finally, Prabhupada references the Gauranga Nagaris. They're a class of sahajiyas, cheap imitation devotees, Aul, Baul, Shaki Beti, Jat Gochai, Gauranga Nagari. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has classified different species of Prakrita Sahajas, materialistic, cheap devotees. So the Nadia Nagaris or Gauranga Nagaris, they want to put Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the position of enjoyer and themselves as the enjoyed. they don't understand that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, although he's Krishna, is not in the mood of the enjoyer. There's no need to come as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to enjoy. Krishna is already the supreme enjoyer. But when Krishna wants to take the role of the devotee who's enjoyed by Krishna, then he comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So if one wants to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one has to respect the mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That was the qualification of Swarup Damodar especially. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would feel some particular kind of emotion in love for Krishna, and Swarup Damodar could understand it, and he would sing or recite some verse that would enhance the feelings that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was relishing. That was his service. He could understand what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was feeling and could enhance those feelings. But the Gauranga Nagaris don't understand at all. And they make a clumsy effort to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in a mood which is exactly opposite to him. Even in ordinary dealings, we have to understand someone's mood. If someone's absorbed in study, then it's now not the time to hang out with him and tell jokes and entertaining stories. No, now he has to study. And when he's in a mood of leaving study aside, then don't talk to him about coursework and all of that. He doesn't want to hear it. And one has to see what is the mood of the person and try to go with that. Otherwise, it's a disturbance. Someone's in the middle of a meeting and you want to talk to him about, your camping trip. No. It's like, hey, I'm in a meeting. Can't you see I'm in a meeting? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes to relish the mood of separation from Krishna. That was another foolishness. Madhavendra Puri, at the last stage of his life, was feeling intense separation from Krishna and expressing that. And he had one so-called disciple. What was his name? Ramchandra Puri. Ramchandra Puri. And he said, Guru Maharaj, why are you feeling distress? The Supreme Brahma is everywhere. Brahmabhuta prasanatma nashochati nagankshati. Why are you feeling distress? So Madhavendra Puri threw him out. And get out of here. I don't want to see your face. If I die seeing your face, I'll never go back to Godhead. That means his contribution was not appreciated. He didn't understand. He was foolish and totally misunderstood the exalted feelings of Madhavendra Puri and thought that he could instruct Madhavendra Puri on how to see things properly. So one has to respect the deep mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in love for Krishna and not try to approach him as if he were Krishna. He's Krishna, but not in the mood of Krishna. He's in the mood of a devotee. So one has to respect that mood and not transgress it by presenting oneself as an object of enjoyment for the supreme enjoyer, Krishna. No, he's not the supreme enjoyer. He's the servant of the supreme enjoyer. This is the mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All right, are there some questions, comments? It's usually better without the microphone.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, thank you for the amazing class.
Try it without the microphone. Let's see if it works better. Just speak loud and
Hare
without the microphone.
Is it good? Maharaj, usually a deity is a form where we worship the Lord, right? A form of
We
are
worshipping the form. We're worshiping the form of the Lord.
Yes, correct. So, as God Nitai, they are mercifully come to us. So, in one sense, we would like them to be, in one sense, we would like them to enjoy our offering.
Yes, we want them to. We're serving Gaur-Nitai as the deity, and we're offering them enjoyable things, and so on. Yes, because we're worshiping in the regulative standard. In ecstasy, or on the platform of love, the Swarup Damodar's, of course, they also wanted to give pleasure to, just like who was that? Jagadananda Pandit wanted to provide comfort for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so there was always some back and forth about that. But in the regulative principles, even Mahaprabhu were worshipping in the mood of his being Narayan, not even the mood of being Krishna, but in the mood that Gaur Narayan, that although he's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we're worshipping him as Narayan because we're not qualified to enter the Gambhira and relish these inner feelings with the Lord. But the beginning is respect, that he's first to understand that he's Krishna, not that he's an ordinary devotee, not that he's some historical person only, but to recognize first that he's Narayan. Even Krishna, we're not worshipping him in the mood of being the enjoyer in Vrindavan. Radha Krishna are not worshipped like this. They're worshipped informally with things from the forest and in an intimate mood. But we're dressing Krishna like a king. Providing a royal throne, a chamara, which is a sign of royalty, everything being done and worshipping in a big temple with all formalities and offering arati and so on. This is all what's done in Vaikuntha. But this is the standard for worshiping the deity, not to presume that I'll lie down on the altar and hug the deity and kiss the deity. And I've seen people, they want to dance with their deity and hug the deity as if they were meant for all these intimate relationships and meant to display them to the public. No. With awe and reverence, one should worship Krishna, Radha Krishna. Inwardly, that's another thing. According to one's realization, one may see things differently. But the mood of worship is with awe and reverence. The Goswamis were situated in the highest love for Krishna, but they established temples for worshipping their deities according to the regulative principles. Something else? Prabhupada established the Krishna Balaram Mandir, and Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita Satsarup Maharaj describes that he very purposely installed Gaur Nitai, then Krishna Balaram, Radha Shamsundar, so that people could understand that to approach Krishna Balaram or Radha Shamsundar, one has to go through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mm-hmm. Yes. Not directly. Yes. We've heard that Srila Prabhupada instructed that in the West, Gaur Nitai should be dressed with kurtas, not bare-chested, because otherwise people in the West would think he's a hippie. Means formal. The worship is a little formal, not just spontaneous worship. Spontaneous is for the spontaneous devotees. But even the spontaneous devotees follow the regulative principles for worshiping the deity. Loka sangraham evapi sampashan kartam arhasi. Yes. Well, you're neither here nor there. You've got the microphone, and you think that when it's at your sternum, it'll work. It doesn't. It either works when you put it exactly like that, then it does what it's designed to do. But our experience in this hall is that it distorts things worse. So it's okay. But just for your information, this never works.
I just had a reflection. You mentioned how for the rich and influential, their houses are far away.
The rich and influential, their houses are far away. You have to go through a lot of territory to get there.
It reminded me of the pastime in Dwarka, when Lord Brahma goes to see Krishna.
Reminded you of the pastime when Brahma goes to Dwarka to see Krishna.
I think he was told to almost wait.
Yeah, he was told by the doorman, wait. And then the message comes back that who's come? Well, tell Krishna Brahma's come. Okay? Message comes back, which Brahma? So even Brahma doesn't get so quickly through the door. Which Brahma are you? That's the doorkeeper's business. Even the Kumaras, although it wasn't done right, they couldn't get in because the doorkeepers were there. No kids.
And I was also thinking, that's Lord Brahma, the creator of the universe, what to speak of us, what to speak about entering Brahma.
That's Brahma, the creator of the universe. What to speak of us and what to speak of entering Vrindavan. Yes. Krishna is totally in control of, therefore, Prabhupada said, don't try to see Krishna, but try to act in such a way that Krishna will see you. Our real business is to serve Krishna. And when Krishna sees the service, then, just like Prataparudra, he wanted so many ways to try to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw him sweeping the road before Lord Jagannath, like an ordinary sweeper, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became pleased and decided, all right, I'll see this king, although he's a king. By his own efforts, directly, this wasn't working, that wasn't working. But when the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took notice that he's serving Lord Jagannath in this way, all right, come on. All right, we can stop here. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda.